Welcome back. Dan Ohlweiler is with me today from Sterling Financial Advisors.
Good to see you, Ken.
Welcome. Thank you very much for being here today.
Planned for 4th of July?
Well, we are. We usually just go around our lake up in RSM.
Okay. Yeah, they have a good program
we got a
there.
vacation starting a couple days later, so we'll probably lay low. So.
There you go.
But that's fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
As long as the weather is good.
Right. You always get the fog coming in, though, right before the fireworks. But that's all right. Okay, we're going to talk about a subject, the title of this, you sent me an article from Market Watch. Most retirees fail to have an income plan. And we have talked about this before, usually about once a year or so you go over this.
From time to time.
And you give us an updated chart, or really a spreadsheet, which we're going to have on the screen. I know it's a little bit hard to see. But
a lot of numbers.
Yeah, a lot of numbers.
But
it really kind of shows overall.
Well, this is kind of what we put together for people that come in and they don't have an income plan. They're just, when we need money, we'll take money out of our IRA or we'll take it out of our brokerage account, and there really is no set plan in place. And so what we do is kind of put together a projected income stream based upon your current assets. So this particular Mr. and Mrs. Smith isn't anybody that shows that they have $685,000 of investments.
Right.
And then we just talk about, okay, he's at 65, she's 62. So we say, we're just assuming that we can do 4%.
Okay.
Now that's I tell my clients, if we can do 4 to 6% and have your money fairly safe, I'm a happy camper. Okay. So they're going to earn some interest. They have Social Security coming in. Mrs. Smith has 300 because Mr. Smith was a teacher, so they don't get Social Security. Okay. So he has a pension though, and then he has an IRA, and so along the way, that. They needed $7,000 a month of income. And so we go out do some projections and say, okay, based upon your Social Security, your pension, your IRA distributions, this is how much you need in order to get $7,000 a month. Okay. That way we can have a foundation going forward saying, okay, based upon your current assets, at the end of 35 years, you're still going to have $366,000 left over. Well, that's also under the assumption you're spending almost $14,000 a month because we've built in inflation over that period of time. Right. So you want, people say, well, if I have $7,000 a month, I'm okay. Well, that's okay, today, but what is it going to be, 10, 15 years from now? Right. And so you really do need to kind of have some projections going forward and have a feel for, okay, based upon this, I can set some money aside to generate that income that I need. And I know you've talked about this before, that, the go-go years, the no-go years, and all this. There is also, I guess, for some folks, when they get a little bit later on in life, they may not travel, they may downsize, so the expenses could actually go down, but you're trying to project, hey, let's have this pattern here just in case. Well, unfortunately, they can go down. Well, not unfortunately, but you might spend a little bit more on travel expenses or things when you've just retired. You mentioned the go-go years, but we don't want to project reducing our income because we may need it for health care. Exactly. Okay, you always want to take that into consideration. You don't want to necessarily say, well, I need $7,000 now, but 15 years from now I may only need $5,000 because I'm not going to be traveling much. Well, that $2,000 difference might be needed to pay for health care or whatever it might be. And what I like about this is that the rate of return that's being assumed here is moderate. Yeah, it's not a high. It's not like somebody's trying to say, well, if you get 15%. If I projected 6 or 7% and we only do 5. You're giving reality. I'd rather project low, and then anything over and above that, we're okay. If we plugged in 5%, they'd probably have, $600,000 or $700,000 at the end of that period of time. I'd rather project low and do better than that. And so you be a little bit more conservative in that. Sometimes people will come into us and they've had other people do some projections out and they're in 6, 7, 8% returns.
Right.
And I'm thinking, you know, in order to get that, you've got to take some, you know, some risks.
Right.
You got to be a little bit more aggressive in order to get that average return.
And for somebody like me, when I hit about 69, 70, that's when my daughter's going to be starting college.
There you go.
So I guess I'm in a world of hurt.
Well, we just need to plan for that, you know. But but overall, it was not concerning.
But college is going to be free for everyone. Haven't you heard?
Oh my gosh! And it's not going to cost us
it won't
at all.
Cost us anything.
You know, and our health care will be free and everything else. But getting back to when I saw this article that says most retirees don't have an income plan.
Right.
That's been the case over, you know, we've sat down with a few people this week actually, and we say, you know, they've come to our seminars and they want to come in and chat with us. And there's no cost to come in and just to chat, but they say, we say, how much do you need on a monthly basis? Oh, geez, we really haven't sat down and considered that. We just kind of spend what we want to spend. Well, that's okay as long as you have sufficient assets.
Right.
But if you're kind of on that borderline, you kind of do want to be preparing and kind of get an idea based upon certain parameters. How much can I spend on a monthly basis and not run out of money?
Right.
People always ask, do I have enough money to last me the rest of my life? Well, tell me when you're going to die.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You just don't know. So you always, you know, not having an income plan or at least a projected income plan in place, you know, doesn't, you know, you're just winging it then.
Right.
And you don't want to really wing your retirement.
And you know, you make a good point. I know in this community, we had some folks and a great project here, the Centenarian Project. And believe it or not, in this community, there are about 75 or so folks over 100.
Over 100.
So that tells you right there.
Well, the average life expectancy right now is 79.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the 1940s, when Social Security first came into play, government actuaries said it was 65.
Yeah.
So that's when they'll start giving us our Social Security.
That's right.
You know. Yeah. Well, we've seen that go up over years, and we've seen the requirements for Social Security. You know, they did I think we talked about this earlier, but they did a study of 100 couples for 30 years, starting at age 65, and they wanted to find out of these 100 couples, how many of these couples would have at least one spouse still living at the age of 95?
Yeah.
It's interesting that 34% still had one couple living at age 95.
Yeah.
So, you know, we would rather project out 30 years and have them pass away at 20 than project 20 and have them pass away at 21.
Right,
you know?
right.
And so income planning becomes critical because it's income that pays the bills, not assets.
Yeah.
People can have $1 million piece of property that's vacant land, but be cash poor.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
So it's monthly income that's really the critical thing that pays the bill on a monthly basis. So, you know, we can get by with not having a liquidity, but we can't get by with not having income.
Yeah.
So, you know, income planning becomes very critical to us as the closer we get to retirement. It's amazing to me how many people we sit down with that really don't have any idea how much they need.
Yeah, it's true. And I think this is a good chart. And again, if folks want to
and we
sit
put
down
something
with you,
like this together for people that come in for us, and we don't charge for that. And if they want an extensive financial plan, there's some minor charges for that.
Right, of course.
But we'll do some income planning for them without any charge.
Yeah, very good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And I know you're going to have are you going to be a double new grandpa?
I've got a daughter having a baby on July 5th. They plan it these days.
They do.
You know, so they're having it on July 5th, and my son is having their first one a little bit later in the month, last week of July.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of babies coming in.
I know when my daughter was born that morning in the hospital, and the doctor came in, you know, when they're prepping everything, it was, your daughter's going to be born. I think it was like at 2:48 this afternoon. He was maybe 30 seconds off.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than when I was growing up. But, you know, you take it when you do, but now they kind of just, okay, I want it on July 5th, so we're going to be there.
Okay. You take care. Have a good 4th of July, and hope everything goes well.
We're hoping.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. We'll be right back.